Okay, so in an effort to switch up the content here and so on, I did a podcast editing video. But today, or right now, I wanted to talk a little bit about microphones. I do podcasts, and if you've seen older videos, I did a video about podcasting gear, um, which that one got a lot of good feedback or a lot of views or whatever. And I talked about the Zoom PodTrack P4, I believe. And, I've done some other studio videos, I think, talking about the PodTrack P6, or at least I keep meaning to record a video like that, or the P8, or whatever it is. But if you, and I believe I also, in that previous video, I talked about this, which is the Blue Yeti, which is really popular, hugely popular, like streaming, content creation, so on and so forth. Camera or microphone. I'm still in camera mode. But I came across this at Goodwill. Howmarin professional studio microphone, plug and play, noise cancel, instant mute, onboard audio control, real time monitor. And just from that picture, I mean, that looks fairly similar to this, right? The reason that microphones like this are so popular is because it's fairly good audio quality, and it's a one-step solution. You just need something like this, and it'll sound pretty good. You've got different cardioid patterns on the back, so you got the switch there. You can move it around, hypercardioid, so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of good elements there, and you just plug it in. It's like $125. So this clearly is kind of like a cheap knockoff of that. And then moving up in price. Well, no, the price is actually less, but in complexity, I guess. An audio interface like the one I use would be the next thing, because I can plug 4 microphones into one device that plugs into my PC, and it's got a Bluetooth adapter, which is an extra $50, but then you can use your phone, and other devices, and you can play multiple music things, and you have a lot more capabilities. 4 headphone outputs, so everybody can hear their own inputs and hear the mix, things like that. You got sound effects buttons, and that costs less than something like this, but with all the add-ons, you're probably paying ultimately more. And that's an audio interface that's not a microphone. So you have to have your own microphone. This is the microphone I use. This is the AT2020. It's a condenser microphone, which means it needs a power supply. Most audio interfaces nowadays will have that power supply built in, but some of them don't, so you need to have an external unit. So you're building on the cost, but the quality of the microphone is, for the price, it runs about $100. I think I got this used for maybe 40 or 50. And it's like built to last, good quality. So if you're buying a device like this, this is a built-in one-person solution. It's got a headphone jack, so you're hearing your computer audio. You can hear your mix, the microphone gain control, cardioid pattern. You can mute yourself all right there. It's really quick. So it's simpler. It's ultimately probably a lower cost of entry, and you don't need to do any kind of research. But this is I think technically this is also a condenser microphone, because it also needs, obviously it needs a power supply. It just gets power from the USB, so you just plug it in, you're good to go. But I don't know, I can't see inside here or inside my normal microphone. But when you're talking about microphones, the most important part of a microphone is the capsule, which is actually the device that converts sound waves into electrical energy. Excuse me. So with a microphone like this, I mean, I can't see inside there. I can't get inside there. I'm sure you could probably repair it, but again, it's probably like retails for $100. Most people are just gonna use a microphone like that until it dies and then buy a new one. A great example, which again I've talked about in that past podcast mic video, the Shure SM58, also usually around $100 microphone, but they're the industry standard for stage mics because they sound pretty good and they're built to last. Like, they can get run over and work to a certain extent, and because they're really plentiful, they're very common, you can find parts, you can repair them, or you can just buy a new one. And there's several other microphones that are like that copy the design because it's such a classic and popular design, and it just works. So it's a Behringer, I forget the name of it, but it's supposed to sound very close. It's like the 5800 or something. Probably on Amazon search, to be honest. This is the Behringer XM 8500, and yeah, this retails for about $20, but it looks just like the SM58 because it's a standard design and it just works. So and so maybe that capsule works as just as well, or maybe it's not as good. Anyway, what I'm trying to drive at here is that with this microphone that I own, AT2020 Audio-Technica, I can be sure of the quality of this microphone, and if it doesn't work, I can find a replacement fairly easily, and it won't wreck my whole system. I could put any microphone on the end of this. I don't have any other microphones here with me today, but I could. I could put any microphone here on the end of this, and I'd get a similar quality. I like this one because it seems to work with the frequency of my voice pretty well. And like real audiophiles and people, if you watch YouTube channel Podcastage, he just goes through and reviews mics and compares them to every other mic pretty much at various different price points, and occasionally he'll go through at different price points and point out the best microphones at each price point. So this isn't the best microphone ever. It's $100. They make $3,000 microphones, they make $6,000 microphones. Like, it goes all the way up the scale to those crazy Neumanns, and like the next step up from something like this is the Radioelectric, the RE2020 or whatever it's called. Very popular microphone for years and years for broadcast and things like that. And as we've seen the computer technology catch up to radio standards of quality, those microphones that have generally been used for broadcast for years and years and years, they're now making their way into the computer space because we have the ability to adapt them to computers. So if I wanted to, if this microphone broke, I could replace this with something like that, a broadcast quality microphone that would sound good in a studio or like a radio station or something like that. But an all-in-one solution like this, the Blue, if this breaks, or I don't like the quality of it on my voice, I don't particularly like it. I think it's fine. And maybe you can't tell the difference. Maybe you're not an audiophile, so you don't care. But I'm just saying I don't like the quality of this particularly. You then have to replace the whole thing. And if this is your audio interface solution, then you have to replace. You lose the ability to plug your headphones in. You're losing a lot of functionality by having to replace it. Now, Blue also makes other capsule microphones like this. This is one of their original ones. I remember seeing this in a Guitar Center catalog, probably in like 2006, 2005, something like that. I don't know exactly when they first made this. But this is the Blue Snowball. And this was one of the first microphones I remember. I clearly remember this. I remember seeing it like in that catalog and being like, oh, that's a USB microphone. Like, this is that was what the draw of this was, is that it's got a USB port. And this is one of the older original models. I found this at Goodwill as well. It uses USB B, not even micro B, but just straight USB B here in the back. And it's just got three, I don't know if that's the gain or the hypercardioid. It's just a cheap little switch. But the idea that you could buy something like this for $100 at the time, you can see this is like yellowed. Someone's had this next to a heater or something. The idea that you could get something like this and plug it into your PC and just have a direct, like a good or good enough solid microphone that you could plug into your PC, and like you could use this for instrument recording, if you're recording guitar parts or something like that, straight into your PC. At the time, that was mind-blowing. I mean, it's crazy to think in my lifetime how far computer recording has come. I remember buying way early on, that was probably 2000, maybe around the same time as this, 2005, 2006. I remember seeing at Barnes and Noble, it was like a book and software and hardware kit where it was a USB cable that had a like a quarter inch jack, like guitar input. And I was like, wait, what? Like, and it was like probably $50, something like that. Probably not very good quality. But the idea that, oh, I could plug that USB microphone cable into my computer, and I think it had a pass-through, so you could plug that in and potentially record straight to like your voice notes or into Audacity, which was just coming out at the time. And that blew my mind. And then seeing something like this, oh, that's just a direct microphone. I could just record straight into my computer with this. But again, these same problems exist. I mean, not so much with this one, because this isn't also your monitoring solution. You still had to have like a headphone output on your computer or speaker output. So this, takes over for this, where this has all that inbuilt functionality. So these things got really popular with people who are not like audiophiles or just need it to work. And especially, I don't know if you guys have been to Best Buy in the last 3 or 4 years, but the way they have moved towards the creator economy, and a lot of those tools that content creators on the internet create, use to create, like a PodTrack, like a Blue Microphone, those were like kind of niche products pre-2020, and then once everybody was working from home and needed to attend a bunch of Zoom meetings, that market's blown up. Like there's tons and tons of things. They're like, oh, people need good quality cameras and good quality microphones that they can get for cheap and are easy to use. Like there will always be the people who want to go above and beyond. Like this is clearly not just a webcam. This is a mirrorless camera, Sony mirrorless digital camera, meant for video and pictures. And this is clearly not just. I mean, this is a dynamic. The use cases for this microphone are, depend on who you are. I mean, if you're really working in the studio, you might not use something like this. You probably have more higher budget, I guess. You have more specialized microphones and things like that. But I just mean like there's kind of a middle ground now where there's people who don't need computer things at all, or don't need to worry about audio and video at all, like your grandparents probably. Maybe their audio, they're kind of into that. And then there's people at the other end who are trying to do really professional work, and there's kind of now two subsets of a middle group where they want pretty good audio and video for not that much money. And again, like the thing is, the tools don't matter. If you're making good art with it, who cares? But like, whereas this, I could see multiple use cases for this, instruments, if you're doing guitar and things like that, and also if you want to use this to talk into for content creation, things like that, or even recording vocals or maybe voiceover, things like that, this might work. This, I would say, only works for voice and would only work in a situation where you're you're just talking to the computer. Like maybe you could use this for instruments. And again, I can't open these up to like give you an idea of the quality of the internals, but just basically, they're kind of special, or especially the Blue Yeti is specialized, you know, and it's even supposed to mimic that look of looking like that idea of like the late night, like, you know, the David Letterman microphone, the Conan O'Brien microphone sits on the desk. Is it really in use? I don't know, but there it is. So this then is is even filtered down more, where we go from, you know, actual microphones made for actual studio applications or radio, things like that, professional applications. We go to the imitation of that is aimed at the people who need to, you know, who want to do content creation or have good dialogue, you know, game chats on or something on video games. And then there's the next level down of people who can't afford either of those or don't want to spend that much because they don't care that much. And this is that. You know, this is the imitation of the imitation. So I want to take a look at this, and I'm going to try and compare all the qualities, but they all take different cables, so that's kind of a interesting wrinkle here. So again, it comes with a stand. My Blue had a stand, but I think I got rid of it because I didn't use it. I was just attaching it to this mic stand. And just, yeah, there it is. Now it comes with a little bit of a windsock, so that might have been, you know, the best part of the whole purchase. This immediately feels very plasticky, very light. Mute button turns. I don't think it's supposed to do that. But here we've got mic, so not even game, but mic, and then headphone, and then echo. So it's got a built-in echo, but it doesn't say anything about cardioid patterns or the patterns at all. Headphone, USB-C on the bottom. Comparing this in weight, this is probably half the weight of the Blue. And you can see it's not quite as girthy, shall we say. It's like a svelte, it's like the Blue Yeti on Ozempic kind of thing. It's so light and it's so plasticky. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in, or not plug it in, but install it. But first, one thing I noticed when I opened this before, you can actually take off the cover. I thought it was very interesting. And there is your capsule, and if you see, you can see right through it. Like there's just two little wires, and it's this kind of top capsule part is just kind of glued on, and it looks like it's less than half an inch thick. Like absolutely maniacal. And then they've got it kind of angled back. I don't know if you can tell, but there's a black part on this side, black part on the side there, and it's so it angles the capsule back. So this is sitting at an angle in there. So I guess that means it's pointing away from the controls. So does that mean like if you're using it, you want it the controls facing out so that it's pointing towards you? No, I don't know what that implies. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on its stand here. And the thing is, the stand is probably the best part of this. Again, it's directly mimicking the stand that came with the Blue Yeti, and I used to have. Maybe I still do somewhere. I just don't use it anymore because just look, in comparison to the stand, the microphone is now ridiculous. It's being held up. There's probably 4 or 5 inches between the plugs and the stand there. Again, it takes USB-C. It didn't come with one. Again, I found this at Goodwill, so what do you expect? And then I guess so the idea is you hold it like this. You have it like this on your table, so it's pointing away. But then how do you see the mute button? How do you see all the controls if it's that way? Like, I just don't understand. You have to point it this way and then far enough away? I don't know. So the thing about condenser mics like this one and like this one is you don't want to speak into the end, because the sound, this is from the top and then this is from the side, so the sound isn't equal. And the same with this, where you want to speak this way and you can even set a pattern so like 2 people can be talking, but you want to be talking to the sides. Talking to the top, you're not getting the best audio quality. So again, I kind of want to just plug these both in and compare. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to do that. I might have to plug them in all separately and just give you a little sample. But basically, like with sound, with audio, you're getting what you pay for. I mean, to a certain extent. There's going to be a level where, you know, maybe you're the only one who notices, or only like audiophiles are going to notice. Maybe you won't even notice the quality, like, but well, I just want to throw these. Maybe we'll throw these into Audacity, and you can kind of see the waveforms. But yeah, okay. Let's pause here. Okay, guys. So then I just recorded some samples with the Blue Yeti, and then or Halmurin microphone, and then the Blue Yeti, so we can hear some samples back to. Okay, so I recorded some samples here, and let's check. I am now recording with the K66 Halmurin Professional Studio microphone. This is from the back, this is from the front, and this is from the top. Oh my god, look at the waveform difference there. Yeah, so like I said, the capsule, if you're talking to the top, that's what I mean by the top. If you're talking there, you're just talking directly into the capsule. So maybe from the side, you're actually getting some good extra rejection. As you could hear from the handling noise, obviously there was not very good handling rejection, which is a big thing, especially, again, that's why the SM58 is so popular, is because it's heavily dampened, so the handheld rejection is incredible. I am now recording. Mic is set at about half here. Okay, and now I'm recording with the Blue Yeti. Oh, the gain is all the way down, so we're going to turn the gain up to about half. Yeah, that's a big improvement. I don't know what the patterns are, so we're going to go through the different cardioid patterns. This is the new cardioid pattern. This is the new cardioid pattern. This is the new cardioid pattern. Okay, I'm going to set it to hypercardioid. This is talking into the front of the microphone. This is talking into the top of the microphone. This is turning into the back of the microphone. So, just a little sample there. And I can see just from the waveform that this looks way more consistent. But we shall hear. Yeah, so again, talking into this one. Okay, yeah. Yeah, using this as the front with the badge, it sounded so much better. And then talking into the back with the normal hypercardioid pattern, the rejection is so good. You're losing a lot of background noise. And then talking into the top, you hear some, but you're muting, you're losing some frequencies there. And then the handling rejection, I was just holding it in my hand like this, so you could barely hear that. I mean, you can kind of hear it when I was messing with the cardioid pattern dial on the back, but that's kind of to be expected. So right away, well, okay, I got one more sample. We can talk about it. Okay, and just for comparison's sake, back to the Halmurin microphone. Again, gain set at half. I turn the echo. Let me trim, but we shall hear from the waveform that this looks way more consistent. But we shall hear. Okay, and just for comparison's sake, back to the Halmurin microphone. Again, gain set at half. I turn the echo off. This is the echo at 100. This is the echo at 0. This is the echo at about 50. So, just for comparison's sake. Okay, so what am I driving at here? What am I talking about? I guess what I'm saying is, like, for podcasting or for content creation, things like that, you don't need absolutely the best microphone. I certainly 100% believe that if you just want to make a video or something, or play games or talk on Zoom, this is probably fine. But it's not great, and it will break, and it does, okay, the echo function, that's fun. That's a fun thing to add on there. you know, but I feel like something like this can fulfill the needs of a lot of people, maybe not everybody. Um, Whereas, for probably, I don't know the prices here. I'll try and find links, but probably twice the price at least. You're getting something that uh, does reject a lot of background noise and sound from around other parts of the microphone, and handling noise even. Um, and it's a little more versatile because that's an actual microphone mounting point. This has none of that. You have to use the stand, no other option. um I bet you could 3D print something that might work or something like that, but um with this you have other mounting options, you have other ways to use this. um and okay, so this is a big company. Blue is bought by Logitech at some point, and that's when they started really jumping into computer peripherals for sound, especially. This is made by a Chinese company. This is probably from Temu, something like that, I would imagine. Um, and modern conveniences it does have USB-C, but I think the new Blues have caught up. That one's from probably 2022 or 2021 when I bought that. It's fine. It's fine, but if you're going for quality, it's not so much about quality, it's about durability. You want to be able to buy a microphone once and never have to worry about it. Microphones are kind of like camera lenses in that way, where you spend the good money on the microphones in the hope that they never break. Hopefully you never have to worry about them again. So buying something like this is cheap. This is, I don't want to say it's e-waste, because it does technically work, and anything that works, much like camera bodies, they will eventually break. They will eventually be obsolete. You can absolutely find already a bunch of other things with better sound quality on the market, but it can be fun to use because, it wasn't supposed to last that long, or you're doing something with tools that are of lesser quality, and that inherently is like, oh wow, if you see someone like using chopsticks and little brushes, and they're making amazing art with dust, you know dust on the back of a windshield, back of a car, like that. Oh, whoa, that's crazy that someone could do that with just like dirt and a toothpick or a Q-tip, something like that. So yeah, go out there and if you find something like this for $12 like I did at Goodwill, sure, pick it up. Why not? It's functional. If you need like a cheap gaming or Zoom setup, and you've got your $30 Logitech webcam or something like that, and this, you're gonna be fine. Like, Zoom's audio compression, we could get into that. Zoom's audio quality is not fantastic, but in general, if you're making content, you want to put it out at the best audio quality. Specifically, audio over video pretty much is the rule, because people will watch a bad video with good audio quality, but they won't watch a good video with bad audio quality. That gets so much more annoying so much more quickly. Like, yeah, there's levels to that as well, but I would recommend, if you could even find something like this. We didn't test this, and maybe I could have, but well, maybe save this for another day. Something like this is at least more solid, and a more professional, let's say, a higher level of quality than this little. I mean, you could buy a microphone capsule like this, I'm sure, on Amazon for next to nothing, and then they just printed this body, formed this body out of cheap plastic, and then there's probably not even that much in here. There's just like maybe a capacitor and a little board for volume and mic and echo and mute. Like, that's all you need. I will give credit to them. They did put a little like wind proofing inside the top shell there, and it came with a sock. They know that clearly they know that there's going to be wind noise issues. So like I don't want to, just like the Temu camera, which you can kind of use to have like a retro aesthetic. I don't want to claim anything as e-waste. I want, that kind of term, should we always be striving to have the best quality devices that we can afford? Yeah, absolutely. But there's people who are poor. There's people who don't have money with no budget. And guess what? That records audio. Is it the best audio ever? No. Is it kind of specialized because you can only plug it into a computer? Yes. There you go. I don't. Those are your limitations. But if you can, don't buy that. Buy a used SM58. Buy a used. Heck, if you can find a SM7B, go for it. Like that's the standard of content creation microphones, really, especially podcast. Even the Behringer XM8500, it's $20, but it's copy of one of the most standard microphones ever. So maybe it works for you. I use one in my music recording setup, and it works. So anyway, that was a long-winded rant, and there was a lot going on there. But thanks for hanging out and watching this one. I had that microphone sitting around for literal months, and I realized I should probably talk about it or do something with it because it's just been sitting there. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one.